Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Rivals of Aether 2 patch 1.1.1, and this is a very small patch in terms of what it actually changed for the competitiveness of the game. Most characters just got some general hotfixes. Aside from Etalus, who did get some pretty big changes, and we will be talking about those. But I also wanted to use this time to mention that I have been accepted for the Rivals 2 Creator Program Code, whatever you want to call it. I have been accepted in it, which is awesome. Huge shout out to the Rivals of Aether 2 team. Just for doing this in general. I think this is such a cool idea, giving back to the community like this. And the way that it works is if you want to support me whenever you buy something in the Rivals 2 shop, you just put my code right there in the top right. I think it resets every like 14 days, so it's not like you're locked in with me forever or with like Ludwig, whoever you ever want to do it with. I'll put a link in the description to all of the people that have creator codes because there's a bunch of really good Rivals 2 channels that you probably don't know about. You could find some people with through there. But yeah, really cool program that they did here. Super happy to be a part of it. For anyone that wants to support me, it is code ProofBlock, all lowercase. And let's just get into the patch now. Moving on to the changes, starting off with the non-Etalus changes, you're going to have Zeta Burn Aerial Down Special Cancel Window Fastfall change from 27 to 14. So now you're going to be able to fastball way earlier with that move. And I do think that this is going to be a pretty significant buff for Zeta Burn. You will feel this when you are recovering. It just should make it so he's able to more consistently make it to the wall. It's not going to make his recovery like better in every single way. He still has all the flaws that he does before, but now the window to just capitalize on that is going to be smaller as the opponent. So I think that's a good change in the direction for Zeta Burn. They made it so that Raster Neutral Special can now fastfall during the startup and looping active frames. I think this was kind of just like a quality of life change, just like when they implemented the fastball change, it kind of messed with Raster Neutral Special because this is a really weird move in terms of how it works with fastballs and everything, but I think this should just fix it so it flows a lot better now. They made it so Fleet Up Special launches in direction now chosen one frame before the launch frame instead of one frame after. I don't think this is really going to be a big change. It basically just says this means the launch direction won't change if you hit an opponent and then release your joystick. I don't know if this was a really big issue for Fleet players prior, but it's not going to be an issue at all now. And the final change to Arcane is they made his forearm hurt box smaller. So massive win for Arcane players, I guess. Onto those Etalus changes now. The first couple are going to be to his general roll speed. They made it so the overall roll speed is 28 instead of 25.5. Ledge roll speed is 26 instead of 24. And get up roll speed is 27 instead of 25.5. And this is basically he's able to put a little bit more distance between him and his opponent, which I absolutely agree with. I am someone who played Bowser in Smash Ultimate, so I know what it is like to play a heavy with a horrible roll. And in my opinion, the reason that Bowser just heavily fell in the meta is because his roll is so bad. A very important escape option is just completely useless for him. And while this definitely wasn't the exact case for Etalus, and it's not like, oh, his roll is good, all of his issues are fixed. No, he's still going to have all the issues he had before, but now he should be able to at least sometimes escape some of these tech chasing situations where prior it was just seemingly impossible because he was such a big body character. So I do think you'll feel these role changes. His disadvantage state in tech chasing is still going to be really miserable because he's still heavy at the end of the day, but it's better. It's a change in the right direction. Next up is the change to forwarder, and they made it so you can now hit fall when armoring an attack, which I think is an amazing change. This is going to make this tool a lot better defensively, because prior to this, forwarder was literally just like a call-out tool, pretty much. Like, if I think you're going to swing here, I'm going to swing this forwarder, this blocks it, this hits you. Now, you can block it, and then afterwards go for the grab, or go for a down tilt, or go for an up tilt. Actually go for a grounded follow-up afterwards. You're not forced to just follow up with that forwarder like you kind of were prior. I don't know how much utility it's going to have outside of that exact situation, but in general, I think this is a really good change for Etalus forwarder. It just makes it a lot more fluid as a defensive tool instead of just an offensive call-out tool. The next change is going to be to forward strong, and the base of forward strong one hit now has a front and back hit. Now, I could be reading this wrong, but I think this implies that there wasn't a front hit before, so I don't know if there was just like a middle hitbox inside Etalus and then everything else was useless. Well, everything else was useless, I can tell you that, and hopefully now that move is actually going to have a little bit of value. They also made it so the front hit is much weaker, so opponents don't end up too far away, so the second one doesn't connect. And on top of all of that, they made it a little bit stronger at higher percents from 1.05 to 1.1. So definitely a change in the right direction for Etalus forward strong, because prior to this change, this move was actually just useless garbage. It wasn't even good as like a call-out tool because it just would not connect into itself. So now it's going to have a little bit more oomph behind it, and it should actually be a move where if you hit it, the opponent also gets hit, and awesome. That's what a forward strong should do. Next up is going to be a change to down strong, and the made it so the sour spot knockback is going to be higher at mid percents, as I'm pretty sure what this means. So I think what this is effectively saying is that now you're going to be kind of able to use Etalus down strong as like a combo tool at like 60-70%, specifically when you do get that sour spot hitbox that's kind of like inward on Etalus. But if it isn't that, then I have no idea what this change is for, because it doesn't actually fix the problem that Downstrong has. And even if it is what I think it is, it still doesn't fix the problem of what Downstrong has, which is the move is way too inconsistent, and it just looks like it should be sweet spotting, and it's just not sweet spotting at all. So if this just makes it so the sour spot is actually like something that you're able to capitalize off as Etalus, I think that's a fine change. It doesn't really address the problem that I think Downstrong has as a move, but it definitely makes Etalus as a character a lot better and a lot more consistent. So I think time is really going to have to tell with this one. Also, if I'm just reading this wrong, please let me know in the comments, because I just want to make sure I'm interpreting it right. But I don't think this change is going to be that important for Etalus unless it's a combo tool. They made it so that the shards from armored strong attacks no longer scale with charge, which is like, whatever. Like, I think that he should be able to do 40 damage from whiffing a strong attack if the opponent's lazy. But whatever. I guess that's just a difference in game design. They made it so that there's a bug fix for neutral special. Sweet spot now has priority over the sour spot, allowing it to hit on the second active frame. And they made it so the neutral special sour spot knockback is a little bit stronger, a little bit earlier. I don't think this is going to matter at all. Like, you were never hitting neutral special on anyone that was competent. If you do now, they're going to die, even if you hit the sour spot. So that's great. But is this change actually going to make Etalus better? No, not at all. Up special can now be air dodge cancelled after 2 frames of traveling if it was started from the ground, and this effectively allows Etalus to wave land on platforms like they say here, and this is an amazing change for Etalus. Just the general movement now is going to be a lot better for him, because now just doing up B and neutral is like a really strong tool. It was already a really strong tool for Etalus because it pops the opponent up in the air once they get past a certain percent range. Even if it doesn't pop them up, they're just being stunned, and Etalus is moving away. He's putting ice on the ground, and now he can just immediately wave land out of it in either direction, or jump out of it if the Etalus player wants to do. You just have more variety now. So I think this is an amazing change to up strong. It's going to make this a lot more fluid in the neutral. Editing ProofBlock really quickly with the up special change. I just want to show that you can pretty much immediately wave land out of this thing now. So it's not even just like wave landing on a platform to try to convert into a combo. It's just like wave landing out of the move initially, just using it to set ice on the ground, or using it to pop your opponent up in the air, and then going for an up strong or an up tilt, something like that. So this gives it way more utility than I initially thought, and I already initially thought that change was pretty good. And then these final changes are all just quality of life changes. They changed the buffering for if you wanted to up special during light, medium hit stun, and now acts as if you're buffering during heavy hit stun. They made it so down special shockwave no longer freezes teammates during team attack, and they made it so that the get up attack actually works. And I think these are changes definitely in the right direction for Etalus. Is this going to make him good? No, he is still going to be by far the worst character in the game, but I agree with this kind of route that the devs are taking with approaching a character like this, because he's clearly the worst character in the game. He needs a little bit of work, but you also want to give the players time to figure him out. He just came out. None of the tech has really been developed for this character, so you're still pushing Etalus in the right direction as the devs, but it's not an overwhelming route. You're not over-tuning anything to give him a clear, really strong tool. You're still allowing the players to figure it out, but he's just getting help in areas where he just really clearly needed it. So I would say overall, these are great changes for Etalus. Very happy with this patch. And once again, I have to remind you that if you enjoyed this video, not only should you sub to the channel, but put code ProofBlock in the shop. It would mean a whole lot to me, and it means a whole lot to me already that I get to be part of this program, that they're even doing this program. It's really, really cool. So just shout out to the Rivals 2 dev team. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.